This video is going to help you communicate to me effectively and efficiently where your leak is, and that helps save me time and knowing how much of my schedule to allot to your visit. There are many different areas that can have a water problem relating to your kitchen sink. The common phrase is, "My kitchen sink is dripping." Well, here we are. We're going to show you the terminology, or tell you the terminology, that helps me help you. The first aspect we're going to look at is the shutoff valves. These circles with the X's are common schematic symbology for a shutoff valve. Sometimes it's this pipe coming into the bottom of the valve, or maybe it's coming out of the top. Now, I did put into this drawing, just for simplicity's sake, the remaining tubes that go all the way up to the faucet that supply the hot and cold water to the faucet. If you see a leak down here, it might be at the inlet or the outlet to this valve, or it might be from the handle itself. Another way that we can see water coming down these supply tubes is on occasion the inside of the faucet, or how it was manufactured, has deteriorated, and water is dripping down those supply tubes from the inside of the faucet. If there's water, if you're looking from the sink, the top of the sink, and you see water at the base of the faucet, and it's a single handle faucet, or it's a relatively modern faucet, let's say 15 years or newer, or even 20 years or newer, sometimes there's O-rings and repair parts that can solve that problem. If you get underneath and look up from the inside of the cabinet to the bottom of the faucet with a flashlight, and you see water coming from the base, oftentimes that's internal parts and the faucet needs to be replaced. If the faucet is loose and not mounted securely to the sink, water dripping at the base can then end up in the cabinet below. Another more common problem, of course, is just the dripping. It means, if someone calls me and says my kitchen sink is dripping, it means the faucet is just not turning off completely and needs to be rebuilt. If the faucet is aesthetically worn, meaning the finish is worn, it looks ugly, this could be the time to decide to replace it. I certainly advocate repair rather than replacing for the obvious cost savings, but this is a point where one might consider upgrading to a different faucet if the old one is just not as attractive as you'd like it to be compared to your aesthetics, your tastes, the rest of the kitchen, etc. Another area that can have leaks into the cabinet are on the left here. This is a symbology for a basket strainer, is that fitting that attaches as a little cup that catches food particles and prevents your sink from getting clogged. That, if you look again on the bottom side of the sink, is there any water leakage right here, or where the vertical waste piping attaches to the basket strainer? On the right, we see a simple schematic for a garbage disposal. The disposal has a collar that attaches to the bottom of the sink. Is there water there at the disposer collar? Or is there water coming from where the waste piping attaches to the side of the disposer? If there's a leak and this over here on the right side is where, if you have a dishwasher, oftentimes a dishwasher is attached to the disposal, and that's where the discharge, the wastewater from the dishwasher, goes into the waste system. If there's no leaks anywhere here, but there's a leak or a drip from the bottom of your disposer, oftentimes that means the grind chamber, or the inside of the disposer, has rusted out and the disposer needs to be replaced. The last areas are to consider is, are there any drips coming from the waste piping where they come together into, this is called a trap, or a U-bend trap. Is there a leak anywhere at the fittings? There's a couple of nuts that connect things here and here. Is there water dripping from the trap? The last area that I'll discuss is where the trap arm, this horizontal piece, attaches to the rest of the waste piping inside the wall, and that's called the trap adapter. And do you have a leak or deterioration? Occasionally with older homes built in the 20s, you might see this piece of pipe sticking out of the wall has got a leak. Or when the sink is full and the water is then drained, water appears in the basement, which means that there is a leak in the piping inside the wall, and the wall has to be opened up. So these are the different areas that will help you, help me, in determining what we need to be repaired.